Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this quarterfinal matchup of the DWR Random Percent Cup quarterfinal between Diabetes II, High Spirits, DK9146, and Archfield Monk. 4 have entered, 2 will leave. I am Bob Pineapple MD, and joining me here in the commentary booth is Aaron 2U2. Aaron, how you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great. For having participated in this particular seed, I have to say, kind of excited not to see my name here.
Right, and yeah, I don't know. You think of Dragon Warrior Randomizer, you see these four names. These are pretty much synonymous names with the game. So seeing them on the bubble here in the race is kind of maybe a little bit nerve wracking. But I mean, the 12 people we have in this tournament are all extremely good, have performed very well in this. So some people have to be eliminated, and we're going to see a few of them here in a moment.
Yeah, this is threatening to be an extremely exciting seed as we get started here in just a minute. Really looking forward to seeing how this one shakes out.
And what was special about this week, as somebody who wasn't in the tournament and didn't bother to look up the flag set?
Oh, well, we had all sorts of fun things you're going to find out as we kind of go through here. I guess one of the more obvious ones, it's hard to plan for these seeds now because just about everything is tri-stated. So running practice seeds like I did throughout the week, absolutely none of them prepared me for what this seed actually ended up being.
All right, and now I think I know this week is what, like the random percent normal flags, but there were a few additional ones that were tri-stated, but I can't remember what they are. Do you remember, Bob?
What did we have tri-stated? There was tri-stated whether the map was randomized or if it was the vanilla map, and of course we're going to find out very shortly that it was the latter. Uh,
Oh, spoilers!
well, spoilers for 2 minutes from now.
So Brian Williams in chat saying Big Swamp was random. I know that one was disabled before. Invisible Hero was, wow, Invisible Hero, not Hero, and Invisible NPCs. So thank you very much, Brian Williams, for saving us. Also, hello, Niminva. All right, it looks like we are ready to go. I'm not going to do the countdown. We're just going to see the stream start here. Again, this is a vodcast. Everything has already been done before. So if you know what's happening, don't say anything. And it'll just be exciting to see who of these four players is able to move on and who, unfortunately, does not.
And here we are, and immediately you can see we had fast text in this seed.
And I believe that was Fairy Water and Gold, which we might see if somebody tries to throw the Fairy Water right away to see if that flag is set. And we have vanilla map, but random chest locations. So, and first thing, DK immediately goes out, kills a slime for 11 experience. This is kind of looking like vanilla zones, but it's also looking a lot like random XP and rewards, because there we get
Yep. It finds the red slime, which was definitely the jackpot monster of the early game in this particular seed, and they are gonna stick around for a little bit and grind on that sucker.
Yeah, 175 experience for red slime. It's pretty good. This might be another one of these scenarios where we see people grinding in like the beginning zone for most of the game, but DK is not sticking around. He's leaving. Everybody else is still hunting down. Spells look like they're vanilla though.
Spells were vanilla. Even Draki's not too bad at that 109 experience.
All right, it looks like DK is going over to the mountains here. A little bit higher encounter rate than the forest, where the rest of our players are. Gaining another level. He's at level 7. Is this vanilla levels or not? I kind of feel like it is.
This ended up falling on the random experience requirements for level ups.
Oh, cool. So it just seems like it's been pretty tight so far to what it would normally be.
But yeah, tight in the beginning, and then, well, a little later on.
All right, so we're seeing plenty of slimes go down. The stat growth has been pretty good, which, when you gain a bunch of levels, you're going to find a bunch of stats. So it's kind of hard to tell, how steady they are compared to everything else. But as long as the strength is coming, this will be no problem. They might even see some people branch out to zones 1 and 2 to see if there's anything good over there. But I mean, red slimes are so good that I think, what is it? In zone 0, it's like 50%, or no, it's 40% red slime, 60% regular slime, something like that.
Somewhere around there. One thing about this particular start in the vanilla map, Tentacle spawning in the place that it has, that is actually the furthest possible spot that Tentacle could start from the vanilla Cantlin location. I always hate to see this happen because if you have to get down to vanilla Cantlin for something super important, and that walk kills you, oh, it's just the worst.
Yeah, so whether or not that's important could judge like the entirety of this seed. Now we saw Cantlin over in the vanilla coal spot, Archfield eventually getting a broadsword, magic armor, and large shield with the random shop prices hitting pretty good. Especially like the magic armor was like 70 something.
Yeah, and so fully really kitted out almost as well as you possibly can be, and super early into the game.
Right, and Zarnak's pointing out in chat, it's actually very useful. The fact that it is there eliminates a lot of the potential exploration luck because you have to go in a straight line. That doesn't include the exception of wherever Swamp Cave is. If Swamp Cave appears fairly early in the progression, and that what ends up on the second continent ends up being really good, it could prioritize whoever goes that way first, etc.
Yeah, it absolutely could if you decide to push through Swamp Cave and make that play instead. Brian Williams pointing out in chat that as we continue on here, he's going to post in chat as the other racers who are not on this podcast here that we're broadcasting finish, so that you will get in real time throughout this to see where everybody landed when they finished their run.
Right. And so what we're going to see, I think, for a little bit longer is just a pretty steady grind. I think Archfield, is he still in the first zone or is he in a different one now? It looks like he's trying to not be in zone 0, but it's a little hard to tell. I guess if we're seeing Drakeys, it's not 0, right? Ah, he is. Okay, never mind. But the Drakeys are pretty good too. So far, it's really just the slime that people have been fighting that haven't been great, but considering fast text is on, you almost feel like you need to swing anyway. But High Spirit's taking our first march down to Vanilla Swamp Cave, which is a cave, but it is Stone's Cave, which is empty. So
nothing there today.
I guess he just wanted to be left alone. All right, we see the kill of a 7 experienced Magidrake. Now we have a Wolf who is normally a good fight. What do we have? 97 experience? That's still pretty good.
That's not too bad. We have DK now in Cantlin picking up the same armor set that we saw Archfield Monk pick up earlier.
Now look on High Spirit's screen. There's a chance you can peek down here. Oh, he's got a Star Wyvern. That's is that normally in that zone? Does that make sense? Yeah, I guess he is outside of the starting zone. I just don't remember Star Wyverns being in that area, but I'm not very. I don't have a lot of expertise in vanilla zones and things like that. I really didn't play the vanilla game a whole lot.
I do not believe in the vanilla game that Star Wyverns are showing up in that particular area, no. But High Spirits is making his way over to the vanilla Tantagle location and Brecconary, so we're going to see what's over there very shortly.
All right, thank you, DK. So, and we see there is a town and a cave right here. Puts the Magic Wyvern to sleep and just runs away. It's a pretty good defensive strat. It's Brecconary where Tentagle's normally supposed to be. He's checking the shop, and nothing interesting there. I think was that a no, that wasn't the silver shield. It couldn't have been. It was a small shield.
Breckenridge does have a chest. His high spirits has just now found out.
Yeah, so key access could be very important depending on how this turns out. And there is Swamp Cave, and he is leaving. He doesn't want anything to do with that. Didn't even check. There was a chest, or potentially a chest there right at the top, that maybe he forgot about or just didn't feel like bothering with. Right, meanwhile, Archfield has been sitting on the grind. Diabetes has been sitting on the grind. DK is starting to move out now. Was that 312 experience Droll Magi? Did I read that right?
That is correct.
Oh, is that going to be sad to see more of them? Meanwhile, Archfield does have our level lead. He has a little bit better gear, but I don't know if the gear is really mattering too much. I think it's just he got out quicker and got into the mountain areas and stuff and was able to just do some good killing right off the bat. Meanwhile, High Spirits is now... Is this mountain?
Does appear to be mountain, yes.
Oh, he's backtracking because he forgot about the random chest locations. And
right.
There's a potential one down here.
The Druins are worth over 300 as well.
Yeah, so the random experience has rolled in a very positive way for our racers here. Been able to find a lot of really good stuff right off the bat.
DK now making his way down to where we know Breckenary is.
Just taking out a Demon Knight, rank, level 12. Well, I guess he's got some decent gear now, so it doesn't seem that odd. Resting in Breck. I think we have vanilla shop items, so I wouldn't be surprised to see... Yeah, he doesn't even bother checking the shop there. And I was going to check this cave. We'll see if he ends up going through Swamp or not.
Yeah, as we were mentioning earlier, depending on where Swamp Cave shows up, do you finish exploring the continent, or do you jump over to the other side? Oh, but unfortunately, DK not going to be able to find out that is Swamp Cave. Gets sent back by the Magiwyvern.
Speaking of good enemies, High Spirits just took out, I think it was 229 experience Scorpion. With the vanilla zones down here, this mountain cave is looking pretty good. And Stair Shuffle is off. I don't think we had seen a chance for that yet, but we have Mountain 2, so we know that there is nothing, like everything's going to be pretty predictable down here.
So a vanilla map without Stair Shuffle. Is it even randomized?
But he might have actually peeked down a stair before and I just missed it, because I seem to think there was a chest over there, but either way, he's going to the last chest. I haven't seen anything interesting out of Mountain Cave except for the Fighter's Ring. And taking out the Warlocks are still pretty good. 56 experience for a one-shot. I think I would take that. And finding the Dragon Scale.
Yeah, just a Dragon Scale. So the Fighter's Ring and Dragon Scale, +2 to both attack, power, and defense, and that is it for Mountain Cave.
Yeah, he found some good experience in here, but that's about it. And there's plenty of experience everywhere, so... Alright, DK making it back to the Swamp Cave, where he finds there is no chest in the first slot, and he thinks about it and leaves.
So DK electing to finish seems like his first continent exploration before diving down.
Alright, now that chest I missed before Archfield got was gold, so He's going through Mountain Cave too. Again, he's not going to find after the spider's ring, not find anything particularly interesting, and we're just going to do a bit of a time loss. But maybe he'll get some good experience while he's in there. And everybody is at level 12 right now, so Diabetes has that experience lead, but I think we must just have a kind of a big gap right now with the random experience in play, because yeah, he's got 3,000 experience on DK and hitting the same level. I say 12, I meant to say 13, excuse me.
Something a little earlier that happened, kind of a blink and you'll miss it moment. I meant to point it out what was happening, but we were discussing something else. DK did edge down a little bit to the map to check to see if the Rainbow Bridge was in place for open Charlock, and it was.
All right, so not a surprise then at High Spirits and Cole here finds nothing. With the vanilla locations, or excuse me, we don't. Would it be possible to have vanilla chest rewards even with random chest locations, considering these things are turned off? Like, um, I know, I guess because there would be the fairy flute, right? And yeah, there would have been a fairy flute in Cole if that were the case. So that we know is off as well.
That's true. And Archfield, right on the heels of High Spirits here, also doing the search in Cole, finding out there's nothing there.
All right, and Diabetes at level 14 is pretty close to Ghost stats, but with vanilla spells, we know level 17 is going to be required unless somebody gets some sort of manip going and is able to hurt more. Well, you can't even do that because that would be level 19, so never mind. Maybe they can manip a sleep in place or something.
DK just finishing up the Mountain Cave dive, finds the Fighter's Ring, and gets right out of there.
So yeah, Vanilla Hawks, we're basically looking for armor and sword at this point. After that, it's Yiddy to Charlock, because there's nothing else we really need. Level 17 and that gear, and maybe not even the sword the way the strength is going.
Yeah, the way the strength's been piling up, the sword may not even be necessary once they're at level 17.
And depending on where things go, we might not even need keys this season. I don't think we've seen them yet. We haven't seen Remolder, and we haven't seen a free key chest anywhere. Archfield tried to outside out of the battle. Unfortunately, that didn't work. I think that was a crit on the Axe Knight, though, to take it out, and nothing.
Nothing there.
However, High Spirits does find Remolder, so he's going to be the first on our screen here with key access. We see DK kind of following suit. He's a little ways behind, and Diabetes is probably another couple towns behind in the progression here. But he's going into Swamp. We'll see if he decides to go through Swamp or if he leaves, and he left.
So Remolder in the Vanilla Cantlin location, which, ooh.
Yeah, that is, as a player, you're thinking, okay, well, at least nobody could have gotten keys. The right decision was to completely push forward. That is, unless there happens to be a loose key somewhere else, which could throw the entire progression in the seed right off. So having finished that, now what does High Spirits do? He's got the keys. Is he going to just backtrack and try to check all of the various towns that have chests with key blocked items? That might be the thing to do, other than having to come all the way back. We didn't mention the Heart Cave, but I guess we didn't really need to, because as you've noted, Bob, there is no need for the harp today. It'll be missing because the Rainbow Bridge is already laid down.
Yep, that is correct. So we now know everything on the first continent, because with High Spirits and now Archfield Monk having gotten all the way down to Rim, We know that Grave is outstanding along with Garanham and also the Jerk Cave, and that is all we are missing.
So, as far as chest locations, again, there's Grave, which could have, I mean, theoretically up to 8, but I think at most 6 are not key blocked. That's like potential locations. It almost never works out that way. And then Grinham usually ends up having less chests than normal, just because it normally starts with 3, could have up to 5, and tends to have like 0 in my experience.
Yeah, 0 to 1 seems to be my experience with that particular flag.
And we did see a town in the Vanilla South Swamp location, so that could very well be Grinham. Oh, you said that, yeah, the Jerk still has to be under one of them, right?
Right, we need the Jerk and we need the Grave, so that means that the Vanilla Remolder location has to be a cave.
Well, I guess we're still missing Tablet too, right? I don't think anyone's.
We are still missing Tablet, and we have not seen the back of Tantagle yet because no one had collected keys until this moment. But Archfield Monk has gone back to Tantagle, so we're going to see what that's about.
Yeah, he bolted immediately. Gets the Death Necklace. That could be useful. Again, we have a few levels till we get to 17, so it's kind of hard to tell with the stats right now what's going to be needed. But getting back, if it ends up that something very important is here, this will be huge, just getting back there and not checking the towns, or not checking this somewhat sloggy Hawksness fight, which it looks like High Skirts, has he bolted out of that fight twice now, I think, just because he was on pace to getting killed because the stop spells weren't working, etc.
And now it's High Spirit's turn to be disappointed by the Hawksness search tile.
All right, it looks like he's letting the Star Wyvern, the so-called Wing of Wyvern. This was the death of Star Wyvern. Send him back.
And there's our Tablet Cave. So Tablet is at the back of Tantagle.
All right, there's 3 potential chests here. The first location was empty. The final location is empty. And okay, we do have 1 item here, and it is drumroll.
Fairy Water.
Exciting. So High Spirit's doing basically what Archfield Monk just did, DK, kind of copying them, while Diabetes is finishing out the long walk to Remolder to get his keys. At this point, the players, we're going to see a Cantlin check, and then after that, it's how many towns do they check along the way. Do you go find Breckenary to see if there's something locked up there? Do you go that extra distance? And what all is locked up in Cantlin? We don't see anything in the first location, but there might be one in the double door back door. However, Archfield is checking here. We do know that vanilla items in the Flame Sword is really cheap.
Cheap.
And again, he's got, 4 levels to go. Very likely could do this without Erdrick's Sword, the way the stats are looking.
Especially if Death Necklace is on, and there's a high likelihood that it is.
Yeah, I think we saw 2 of our players get it now, and the likelihood of the 1 in 32. And no coordinates. So Archfield Monk throwing his body onto the damaged tiles in front of the old man in protest, and he's just gonna start back from the castle. And yes, chat, fun fact, there has only been 1 time in this tournament where someone has got the unlucky 1 in 32 Death Necklace appears, but it's actually vanilla Death Necklace actions, and that was Brian Williams 42. Let's see. Looks like High Spirits is heading over to Cantlin as well. I imagine DK is going right there. Get that check, and then it's do we grind? Do we walk over to Swamp to go through that, or do we check the other towns? That seems to be the only the questions right now, I think.
Definitely. DK now heading over to check and find his cheap Flame Sword and not so cheap Silver Shield.
right, and it looks like Archfield is content to do the grinding up here. I think we're just going to see him continue in this zone. Now, there were some other zones I don't think we've seen, but maybe chat has mentioned a little bit. Not seen. I don't know if anyone's seen them on screen yet, but the Drakimos were over 200 experience, and I think Poltergeists were in the 300s as well. We might actually see a little bit of that. I think one of these players ends up in a zone with those enemies, but
yes, I believe Poltergeist over 300, Druins over 300, and Droll Magi over 300.
all right, and yeah, Skeleton's over 100 too. So that'd be zone 1. I can't remember which direction is which. If one is left and right, or if one is up and down. But he's doing some harder things, but he is doing it in a forest zone, so the encounter rate is a little slower. I wonder. I think chat says he could go up a little bit higher into the mountains. He could also go all the way around to that mountain range below if he really wanted to.
Even the Drakima's over 200. So, yeah, a lot of enemies giving out extremely generous experience yields in this seed.
And I think that's what Archfield did. He just went around the lake to go to the mountain range to grind instead. And meets a ghost, unfortunately. The one enemy that is completely useless out of the entire group. Although that's more experience than vanilla, so I guess you shouldn't be too sad about it, but still. And I think High Spirits forgot what cave that was. I think he's thinking swamp, but no, that was just Stone's cave, or the lonely old man cave, maybe.
Oh, and DK, who had made his way back around to Breckenary and Swamp Cave, taken down by a Star Wyvern he just could not run from.
With his third death of the seed, I mean, we're not going to see all 12 players, but he might, do 3 deaths, wind up with the most deaths of everybody in this, because this was very much a hard-to-be-killed seed, and just had, Star Wyverns and some other bad luck.
Taking a look statistically, with Diabetes at level 14, attack power is already at 116. That's with the Flame Sword, and with a turned on Death Necklace, you're already looking at 126 if you can get the HP for it. We know we're going to 17. Sword is looking less and less like a necessity.
Of course, the big question is, where is armor? Where is sword? Diabetes going into Mountain Cave, did he skip this before? Or he must have. That could be an interesting meta decision on a vanilla map to just skip one entire area. Or maybe he was just anti-cave and decided it wasn't worth bothering with.
So we're getting our first true dive into Swamp from High Spirits at the moment. Gets to the spike tile to take out the green dragon. Gonna see if there's a chest by Gwaelin, and there is.
There's also Gwaelin, but I don't think he cares to bother with her. Nothing she's going to be able to do for him. The spikes are vanilla, which is not surprising with the zones being vanilla. So, unfortunately, the green dragon isn't really worth much. The Axe Knight wasn't worth it, and I think that means we'll have a golem inside of Tantagel at the end.
Yep, and that chest in there, just a torch, so not really worth the key to check it. Sorry, Gwaelin.
And he went and took the torch and left her, so she can't even carry a torch for him anymore. Of course, if he did rescue her and turn her in, then she would just take the torch back.
That's very true. We do have a chest here in the bottom, and it is a key. So we did have a loose key hanging around on the first continent if someone had chosen to go all the way to the bottom of Swamp Cave.
Yeah, when you think about, again, where our players are located, this is the 7th through 10th place. I have a feeling the players at the top of the seed probably got that key real quick. Because if they did, and considering we didn't see anything of value, just seeing people hit Breckenary up with just gold in the chest, aside from I think a fighter's ring, there wasn't anything really gained from the entire dive except for or the entire overworld walk except for keys. And it was all the way at the end. So, but hey, High Spirits has found Grave.
Sure has. Lots of possibilities here. Checking over on the western side, does spot one of the potential chests. Gonna pick it up, and it's the armor.
All right, so that has to be a good feeling. You know, you didn't go through Swamp Cave. You see that there is a free key and armor almost immediately once you get in here. I think every single one of our players, when they get to this point, is going to feel really stressed out.
And decides that's all he needs out of this cave. Considering the trajectory of the statistics, probably not a bad call.
So Diabetes did rescue the princess. I think he just wants to carry her around for a while. I don't think we'll see an actual turn-in, considering he's already checked Cantlin. I think he's checked Cantlin, right?
I believe so, yes.
All right, and now Grinham, where there are still some potential chests. Nothing down there in the... nothing in there, and just one... Oh, great. So 2 keys for 1 chest, but what do we get?
Yep. Nothing.
The Grinham's herb. Wow. Very tightly locked up, and doesn't bother to check underneath. Knows at this point it has to be Jerk Cave, and it looks like he's going to go after Sharlock. Maybe he's looking for Erdrick's sword. I think with the stats and the way Chad is talking about, doesn't seem like it's ultra necessary, but to get it, but it'd still be worth the deal, I think. Just to make the final part easier.
Yeah, and if you're High Spirits right now, you're hoping for short Sharlock because you can check the treasury immediately. There's also several other potential spots for chests. It's a higher percentage play, certainly, than continuing to dive Grave, which he did not elect to do.
And Brian announcing in chat, our winner of the race was Niminvat with a 29.02. So the first of our 12 racers is finished. Wouldn't be surprised to see some more text coming intermittently here for a while.
Wow, congratulations.
And that means he gets the bye next week. Does not have to race. And automatically qualifies for the finals in 2 weeks.
Enjoy that week off. And it is indeed short Sharlock. High Spirits finding Erdrick's sword in the treasury. So it's literally a grind and go now. Tristal coming in second place, 29.38. Congratulations to Tristal.
Very close. Came real close to getting that automatic bye, but anything with this week is just about survival. Just finish. Don't get don't get shown on screen today. That was the goal, I think.
That was indeed the goal.
High Spirits takes the death from the wizard in in Sharlock, but he's got the sword, he's got the armor. At this point, we're looking grind to 17 and then go fight the scaly thing.
Yep, so we now know where everything is. DK electing to dive in Grave, and of course we know nothing else is down there, but making the play just in case.
And hey, wizards are worth 268 experience. That's not terrible. Probably still not an efficient grind considering what else is in the zone, but and where is High Spirits? Is he going to Swamp?
Yep, High Spirits appears to be making a beeline back to the second continent.
Well, he might just be going to Swamp. As we've seen what DK is doing, he's grinding in Swamp. And, or he's trying to grind in Swamp. We've seen some good enemies in here. But it might not be exactly what he's looking for. Or, you know what, never mind, he's in Deep Grave. I'm confused. Which is why the enemies aren't what I thought they were. Meanwhile, High Spirits is in Swamp fighting Druins for 300 a pop.
And High Spirits does appear to be grinding in Swamp. it's got Druins and those Scorpions, which also give great XP.
Well, GG to big underscore Slamu 3153, finishing in third place.
Yeah, congratulations to Big Slamu.
We're moving on as well. So we've seen DK is deep diving grave, Diabetes is deep diving grave. Those are, I mean, from what we know, this is going to be just kind of a bit of a time loss. So hopefully the levels that Diabetes already has and DK have will help to maintain them a bit. Archfield, meanwhile, is at 17, also in grave. So does he go deep as well?
It's a good question. Archfield has now picked up the armor. So we are... Everyone's got armor except for DK at the moment.
Now, did he forget to check, or does he actually have it and we just missed it?
He may have it and we just missed the check off. Yeah, DK confirming in chat that he did have armor at this point. So we've all got it.
Yeah, it looks like Archfield is deep diving grave as well. He's at level 17. If he looks real close to his stats, he can beat the Dragon Lord with what he has, but he's looking for the sword. And this could be it for him if he's not able to find it, since he's the last one in grave currently. It'll really just be how quickly can Diabetes and DK get to 17. How quickly does High Spirits get to 17?
Yeah, we're really coming down to it. DK now, thought DK was about to head over to Sherlock, heads back into Garenham. Stay at the end.
Now, the Swamp Zone is an interesting area for the grind. There's a lot of enemies that you don't want to fight, but there's a couple of really good ones. Scorpions over 200, the Druids over 300. Comparing that to a zone where you have a higher, percentage of enemies in the overworld, perhaps in mountains or desert, would be an interesting comparison.
Yeah, the grind decisions would all be very interesting on this seed. I really would be curious how every runner got to the go level.
Yeah, out of curiosity, Bob, what did you do?
I got there by accident. No, I early on. I didn't really leave the Tantacle area, the Tantacle / Cantlin area until I believe I got to level 11 or 12, and then I gained everything else while I was walking around looking for stuff, basically.
Yeah, there were enough good enemies in this seed that I think that generally paid off. There were a few who had the dodge, but even when you have 300 experienced enemies, you don't feel too bad killing one that has 50 or 60. So it looks like DK is heading into Sherlock, possibly to get that sword. Again, he's not going to be able to beat final boss yet, but he does pick up 16 on that night. So what's the difference between 16 and 17? That's going to be important.
Yeah, but 17 is definitely go stats, especially if you have the sword. So what's interesting is that DK has entered with full MP. If DK can pick up level 17 while he's in Sherlock, he might have a play at this.
He is using his last key, so hopefully it's one of these items, which we know it is. And he found another key anyway, so he's okay. But wizards are not a terrible enemy to fight in here, although they do have hurt more. Do they have heal more too? I can't remember.
Oh, and Brian Williams updating us. Back-to-back finishes. Bob Pineapple MD, myself in fourth place, 35.42, and Angel FM, 35.58. Wow.
So congratulations, Bob and Angel, right back-to-back. And so we've had the top 5 finishers. There is one more person that we will announce before we see something here on the race. And it would be very interesting to see who that person is. And Diabetes going in for the sword as well. He is also at 16. Still looking around the princess. Gets at 16. And what does he do? DK he seems set on getting that level in here.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, High
definitely.
Spirits at 16. Archfield's at 17. It looks like he's finally getting ready to go too. Or no, I think Archfield ran out of keys or something. He's getting some more. Oh, he maxed himself out on keys. That's it.
Yeah, that wizard with 268 XP really enticing to stick around and try and gain this level. I really like the play.
Unfortunately for Diabetes, he gets sent back by an Armored Knight. Tried to run, didn't work. It's probably been really good for DK that he hasn't been seeing them, and he's just been seeing those wizards.
And
And there he
DK
is.
gets his heal more.
With Death Necklace, with Erdrick's Sword, with the MP he currently has, he is a massive favorite. And does he have the flute to deal with the golem?
He does. He went against his usual code of ethics and went ahead and picked up the flute.
Well, he didn't have to get it, but he did. And yes, he felt dirty using it. We're not surprised to hear that.
But DK likely realized at the point that he found the flute that he was going to see a vanilla spike tile.
Archfield Monk checking in and around Grinham now. Again, looking at his stats, he could probably be going now. I think, could High Spirits just pick up 17? He checked the Jerk Cave. I think with his knowledge, he had to know that that's what that was. And it looks like Archfield is going into Sharlock now. And High Spirits is heading over to Grinham. So DK definitely with the lead. But we have two people who are not too far behind. And again, the top two finishers on our screen are going to be the ones that will be going forward this week.
Yep, and a Red Dragon tried to just dash all of DK's hopes there at the end. He's casting Sleep on him at 51 HP. He managed to wake up after one and throw a heal more to save it.
All right. Yeah, his fight here, did he use the Death Necklace? I don't think he did.
He did not. Doesn't need it, so has elected to forego the chance that Death Necklace is not, in fact, turned on.
All right. In the race for second, as far as, again, we can see on the screen, not guaranteed that DK is going to win, but Archfield goes in, gets the sword. High Spirits is walking in. He's very close, and it looks like Archfield's getting stuck on a sleepy red. He does get away, 43 hit points, having to blow a heal more there. But basically, man, I think High Spirits just passed Archfield right now on the walk down because he did not go for the sword. He's going in with the flame.
With DK deep into this Dragonlord 2 fight, and just remembering that we have one more runner that finished ahead of these four that has not been announced yet by Brian Williams. So, really tight here.
Yes, Brian Williams. Why don't you go ahead and announce that?
Hey, congratulations to Brian.
All right. DK finishes off the Dragon Lord. Cast return. Assuming he finishes this up, he's going to be in 7th place.
GG's out for DK.
And there we go. I believe he finished with a time of 41:02. So GG's to DK. We see High Spirits on the Dragon Lord before Archfield. Archfield's going to have a little bit more juice going into this, especially if he throws on the Death Necklace. So he might still be able to catch up. But High Spirits with the lead right now. And yes, this does mean that the two people we have not announced yet, who we do not see on screen, Tilo and Zarnax, both did not qualify as well. So thank you for your run in the tournament. You did very well to get here. Just weren't not able to do it this week.
Archfield now moving into the DL2 fight. I do not believe he put on the Death Necklace.
Now, I don't know if that would have saved him enough. Again, you get like two doubles. That basically compensates for the time that putting on the death necklace would have taken anyway. But he's going to have to probably hope for something bad for to happen high spirits here. But if either of them make a mistake, we have Diabetes on the Golem, and he is coming through very quickly to get to the Dragon Lord himself.
Oh, according to Camion, Archfield did put on the Death Necklace, so swinging at 144 AP versus the 132 on High Spirit screen.
Yeah, High Spirits with just the sword. Well, I guess they both got the sword, didn't they? So, or no? Oh, that's right. High Spirits did an early dive. I completely forgot. And High Spirits finishes him up. Archfield finishes him up.
Archfield! Oh, a quick miss menu on getting to return on Archfield's screen.
Oh no. And there we have it. High Spirits finishing second on our screen with a 4309. Archfield right behind with a 4313.
Wow.
4-second difference.
Incredible.
And we get to watch Diabetes finish up on the Dragon Lord here, although he will finish in 10th place. But that's the difference in the qualifiers there. High Spirits moves on next week. Archfield, unfortunately, will not. Just a big difference of 4 seconds there. Somewhere, Lord of the Synth is crying.
GG's to both High Spirits and Archfield. Down to the wire.
Meanwhile, Diabetes does finish up the Dragon Lord very quickly, gets back. And again, this will put him into 10th place of our race of 12, fourth here on the screen, finishing with a final time of 44:33. So GG Sim, very good tournament. If I recall right, Diabetes ended up having the highest at-large time, or the highest at-large berth, but just wasn't able to manage it this week, unfortunately.
Yeah, a great tournament run by Diabetes.
And that's a good point from Jake Hooper. The only thing he was necessary for was the sword, and the sword was not necessary. I believe all of our players here got it, but quite a few did not who finished higher.
I did end up getting the sword, even though I knew I didn't need it. When I saw that it was short Charlock, I decided I'll check the treasury, and there it was.
And there we go. And I believe in a couple of minutes we'll have another slideshow. Is that correct?
I believe that is forthcoming, yes. So we can stick around and see what it's going to be for next week.
You can see some of the kill counts here. The poltergeists, quite a few of those. A lot of red slimes, Drakemas, skeletons. They were all worth quite a lot in this one.
Indeed. Now that we're here at the end, yeah, for my own personal race, I ended up not exploring the rest of First Continent. I went all the way down on Swamp Cave, found that key, immediately went back to Tentacle, got keys, and elected to go to Continent 2. That was my big gamble. I wasn't sure it was going to pay off.
I have a feeling that our top five, everybody who went under the 40-minute mark probably avoided the full exploration. I wouldn't be surprised if both Niminva and Tristal basically hit Swamp, went through, and never went anywhere else. That's part of the equation with random percent is knowing when the flags go certain ways where the priorities go. And with vanilla map, having Swamp still in the first half of the checks, probably, yeah, it was just a big dividing line for this entire seed.
Yeah, that feels like it was likely the big decision point.
And it also seemed like grinding out those levels was a hard thing to ignore. I think from what I've seen of other players and what we saw here, the grinding the levels just. I mean, once you got to an important point, it didn't really matter too much. I think Diabetes was ahead in experience most of the time, but still ended up finishing fourth on our screen. But he also went back to a few places to dive that he didn't do the first time. And the death that he took to the Armor Knight there in Sharlock, if he was trying to grind in there, he was at, I think he was at 17, so he could have possibly just went down. But that death, he died one time in the seed, and it was enough to knock him out of the tournament.
Seeing our Dragon Lord stats, pretty low HP Dragon Lord.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a baby. So anyone in chat who did this seed, did anyone die more than 3 times? Because I made the comment earlier that I thought DK might have had the most deaths with the 3.
And here we go. Moving on to our slideshow portion. I believe I died once, possibly twice. Week 6 results. Coming at you here in first place, we have Namimva 2902, followed by Tristal with a 2938, Big Slamu with 3153, myself, Bob Pineapple MD with a 3542, Angel FM 3558, Brian Williams 42 4028, DK9146, as you just saw, 4102, High Spirits 4309, and that is our dividing line, followed by Archfield Monk with a 4313. Diabetes the second, 4433. Tilo Tilo with a 4704. And Zarnax 42 with a 5812.
So I'm guessing by the comments there, the 14 repels. Angel probably went to 17 first, and then just repelled everything the rest of the game. Poltergeist is a pretty important comment there. Keybait from Brian Williams 42. Archfield Monk with the Tenoshi. Yeah, it was a pleasant seed, but unfortunately the pleasantness has to end for him. And yeah, Tilo and Zarnax, bad decisions more and then backwards. Yeah, I think if you there was a really easy chance to just go completely the wrong way in this.
And here we are now. We have the week 7, which we're calling the Field Narrows. Probably can't always get what you want. We have the base flags plus permanent repel is randomized, no hurt more is randomized, and no numbers is randomized.
Yeah, if as Beta Strip mentioned, permanent repel and no numbers combined could be really really bad. This
I
could
gotta
this
tell
could
you,
be a painful one.
I gotta tell you just how much I am not looking forward to that possibility.
If you have no numbers and permanent repel, you like I guess that actually kind of helps a little bit because you would know by what you're fighting if they disappear. Well, my defense must be this. Although maybe knowing what your agility is isn't really the most exciting thing. Nimiva's excited about no numbers. Now he doesn't have to actually do this week, so maybe he's excited because he doesn't have to do it.
I certainly would be.
And again, our other 7 runners all need to participate. That is Tristal, Big Slamu, Bob, yourself there, Angel, Brian Williams, DK, and High Spirits. And the top 3 of the 7 move on to our finals.
Yep. So we're eliminating more than half the field this week. This is going to be an interesting week.
Absolutely. And as it says on the screen, you'll be receiving the seed in your inboxes shortly. So get to Discord and stare at it until you get it. Or don't do that. It'll be fine either way.
Exactly.
All right. And I think that's it for us today. We have anything else, Brian? Or are we going to go? I think we have somebody who's in this tournament who survived, who we could possibly raid. maybe we wouldn't. In case no, it looks like we're going to send the raid over to Kiglis, who is doing some Dragon Quest as well. Let me see if I can figure out what he's doing.
And while we're wrapping up here, good call from chat. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Thanks, guys, for joining us for this one. And hang on for next week because it promises to be just as wild, if not more so, than this one.
See you then. Thank you all very much.